oh, this person, is this type of way, you just got to watch out, just because you really want to watch who you're around, and you really want to watch who's contributing to the community, because not everybody has good intention.
How's it going? I'm your host, Enrique, and welcome back to another episode. You are watching the XR Space. Today we have an awesome guest, a very special guest, an entrepreneur, AJ DeAndre, yeah.
Yeah,
DeAndre.
Yeah, DeAndrea.
DeAndrea.
Yeah, it's a difficult last name.
I'm really bad with last names.
No, it's good. I am too. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on the show. How's your day, man?
Man, it's been great. I'm blessed, man. I could always say, like, it's cold. It's cold.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm blessed. It's a great day.
That's good. Let's get right into the show. I definitely want to talk about a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah.
Because you're creative like us in the industry.
Yeah.
You're a marketing specialist, marketing strategist, videographer, content creator, an entrepreneur. You do it all, man. And I've done a little bit of research, but earlier in our conversation, you did say you stay low key, so it was a little tough to find a little bit of what you do. But from Itsxital, how do you pronounce it?
It's vital.
Vital.
Yeah.
So from Itsxital to It's Marketing.
Yeah, it's marketable. Yeah,
it's marketable.
Yeah, it's more of a low key company. Like I said, a lot of things are low key about me now. This is because, in my past, I did a lot of different things, and I've tried a lot of different things, and I'm so grateful for it. I had a great time trying all these things out, but the issue is that sometimes you have to really be careful with how you identify yourself in moving forward, with professionals. One thing about me is that I've always been talented in many different ways. So I have a little bit of talent here, a little bit of talent there, but I really want to portray myself as, what I am for something, like a master at something. So that's why, especially as of late, I've been keeping a relatively low key. Yeah. Right. Former owner of Itsxital. It was a music industry. It was a music time, but I no longer do any music or anything like that anymore. Okay. So from all the stuff that you said, I'm really these days a lot more of a marketing strategist for people like that. But
from working with clients like KW, Oasis, plenty of more, Essence Realty, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of people. Yeah, I did. So I've done a lot of, definitely a lot of restaurant, a lot of real estate. And then I've dived into like the creative realm. I did like a few car things. I did a few sports things, but that was more like of a passion project. Cool. Another one is I kind of like helped create for this fighter. He's a really cool guy. So yeah, it's been fun. So from
Itsxital to It's Marketable to your passion projects, is there any work or project that comes to mind that is very memorable to you, or something that you hold near and dear to your heart?
I have to say, if we're talking just a project in general, I think the whole music project, that one's always going to be hold near and dear to me. Yeah. Because that project involved a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I put a lot into that. It's vital. And, to be in a position where now you're looking at from the outside in, because, it's still functioning. I'm just not part of it anymore. Yeah. It's really cool to see that something you built was so present. Yeah, that it could survive even when you're not there anymore. Yeah. Now, granted, I know there's probably a lot of people I wish I was back in there, but it's just you lose passion for something. You can't always get it back. Right. But it's awesome to see, because I did a lot of the stuff that I do for companies now. I did that all for It's Vital. The studio, the events, and I did that because that's how you grow a business. So it still holds near and dear to me, but obviously, a lot of things change. So I wish those guys the best. They're great guys, but it's still one of my like favorite things to just see. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Established in 2020 during the pandemic. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Yeah, I mean, it was a leap of faith. Obviously, the pandemic was a very tough time. We had anticipated to, it was me and my business partner. That's what we had. I had a business partner in this. We were thinking about taking and building a studio in 2019, like near the end. And we found a spot that we were able to work out of. It wasn't the best. It was at the side of a warehouse
on 30, right?
Yeah, on 30.
Yeah,
and it was really cool. Like, I was like, hey, you know what? We're gonna just take the leap of faith and do it. And this was at the end of 2019.
Yeah.
So you can imagine where this story is gonna go, right? So we're building it out. We opened about January 12th, actually, around this time. 4 years ago now. Almost. Yeah, it's crazy.
4 years ago.
Right. And what ends up happening is we go in and, I was actually working a full-time job on top of this. So I was doing, ironically, marketing for a company, right? Mm-hmm. But it was like marketing technology. It was a little bit different. It was like websites and stuff like that. So it involved a lot of graphics and things of that nature. But I worked a 9 to 5. Then I would go from the studio from 5 to 12. And that was my day.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah. I worked so many hours, it was ridiculous. Then the pandemic hit back in March, and it just threw everything off. I went from working literally all day to not working at all, and it was crazy. But when things opened back up, then I was like, hey, you know what? My job doesn't have hours for me anymore. I said, I'm going to take this leap of faith through the studio, and God willing, everything came, and the studio just started taking off. So then I was at the studio all day.
Yeah.
And it was really fun.
Nice, dude. Well, congrats on the success of Itsxital. I'm glad to see that it's still doing good too.
Yeah.
The reason why I know where it is because I've seen it when I go down 30.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. If you guys, if you aren't from the Chicagoland area, if you're in Joliet or Crest Hill, if you go down 30, you'll see it on the left-hand side going north, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the skate shop.
Yeah, by the skate shop, yeah. That's actually the second location, actually. That was the second location. The first location, ironically, it was on 32.
No way.
But it was in Oswego, though. It was in Oswego, so that's why it might have took a second. But no, it's so funny because, it was Route 30, but the one going through Plainfield.
Yeah. When it comes to your current position in marketing and video creation and content creation, what's that driving force for you? Is it monetary, someone in particular, or is it truly just like a fire inside?
One thing about me is that I've always been a supportive person, and I've always liked seeing people win. And over the years, I've seen a lot of different things. Being in the music industry, you learn a lot about what makes something viral, what makes something go up, what makes something special, and people helps people resonate with it. And the thing about this is, when you know that, and when you have that eye for it, to see it, it always gives you this passion to want to help others and bring that to their business or bring that to something that they're doing. And that's what I love to do. I legitimately love what I do now. I love helping people reach higher levels, and I love that feeling when somebody says, oh, hey, we got a video, it's it's in the 30,000s right now, it's in the 40,000. They're like, what?
Even millions.
Yeah, even millions.
Don't downplay. I've seen your work.
I have done projects that have been seen by millions.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah. It's awesome because a lot of people, it just helps people raise their confidence. And one thing I like to do is I like to work with businesses that really have a good, ethics and good morals. So I'm very picky with who I work with, because every company that I want to work with, I stand behind. I either enjoy what they do, or, I go in and I'm like, I like what they're doing. I like their mission. And that's why sometimes I stay low key, just because I'm like,
right.
What I'm working on, I like to really stand behind it.
Right. No, likewise. It's funny you mentioned that. Just before I go into the next question, I actually work similarly. So when I do mock campaigns or self-funded projects here in the studio, a lot of times I really have to sit down and consider the brand that I'm about to photograph.
Oh, absolutely.
Do I stand behind the company, their brand, their values, their goals and stuff, and to see that somebody else does it too, not just with their projects, but with their clients. It's really refreshing, because I want to start taking that same approach with clients too. Yeah. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, and it's good that you do that, because I think it's really special when you do something like that, because it shows that you're not here just for money. You're obviously everybody's got to work for money. I mean, we can't sit here and pretend like you can't work for money. But at the end of the day, it's it does show hey, we want to see companies that we genuinely win. And that's awesome that you do that, because, there's a lot of people that'll sell out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And before we move into the next segment, one last question.
Yeah.
What are some misconceptions that people have about your line of work, whether it be video creation, content creation, or marketing?
Okay, so the misconceptions are out the roof. And the reason that they're out the roof is because nobody really understands me right now. And that's okay. Like, I'm purposely set up to be like that. A lot of people think I'm a videographer. I'm not a videographer. I know how to use a camera. I know how to use my camera very well. I could tell you everything about, ISOs and cinema cameras, and I know Sony very well, and I know, how to use dual base ISOs, and I know all that stuff. But I don't really consider myself a videographer. A lot of the work I do is with devices that you'd be like, that's what you're working with, right? So it's like
a phone.
Yeah, a phone. Yeah, sometimes a phone, but like, even like an Osmo Pocket, the Pocket 3. I do a lot of work on there.
Well, we'll touch on that, but keep going.
Yeah. So like, there's a lot of things that people are like, okay, is he a videographer? No, I'm not a videographer. I'm not a photographer. Really, what it comes down to what I do, the misconception is, what do you do? And I try to explain people, I said, it's strategy. You have to understand what people want to see. And in order to understand what people want to see, you have to really do your research. And a lot of what I do is research based. Doesn't matter if you take a phone. Doesn't matter if you take a FX6 and you shoot this thing and you got the best colors, the best effects. It doesn't matter. If you're getting your point across, then it gets there. And that's the misconception, is people think, oh, it's just I'm trying to get the best quality video. That's not always the case. I'm a strategist. I'm not a videographer.
Yeah, so, that's sick. That's awesome. I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah. No, because likewise, I have that. I meant like, what was the misconception in our field? But I had that misconception. My bad. No, I'm glad that you went into that, because I myself had that misconception that you are a videographer. I mean, technically, labels are relative.
Yeah, labels are relative.
But I was under the misconception that you did video for a living, and to hear that you're taking more of a strategical approach. Yeah. And I mean, that's essentially marketing, is doing your research, knowing the client, knowing the audience, making sure you're looking at the analytics. All of that is very important, right? Yeah. So that's really exciting to hear. That's awesome. So this next segment might not work for us, but before we jump in, I did want to touch on the Osmo Pocket. Yeah. Technically, that is a professional camera, my friend. It's a 1-inch sensor. It has the gimbal on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a lot of people have access to that. They do have access to their phone, and something that I've preached on the show. Yeah. A great way to get started in this industry. You don't need fancy cameras. You don't need the fanciest lens. You can get started with your phone.
Absolutely.
You can use what you have today to start creating magic. To start helping your clients, to help yourself build your brand. Yeah. But this next segment might not work for us.
I think it will, because I do want to put this out here too. Video-based marketing is an actual thing. So like, I trust me, I've done passion projects that don't involve marketing. It's just video.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
So it does that. I should get that, but I got to get that misconception out of there that hey, he's a videographer. I'm not that. I'm not that. But I do. It's a passion though. It's a passion. Yeah.
And I love your work, dude. You're doing such great things.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But this next segment is called Spray and Pray. For those of you who don't know what that means, it's used amongst photographers and videographers. Essentially, when a photographer holds down the button, sprays a bunch of photos, and praying that they get the image that they wanted. So I'm going to give you a choice to choose between Lightroom Classic and Photoshop. Okay. You're going to be editing one of 3 photos. Okay. I'm going to be spraying a bunch of questions at you. And you're going to be praying that you can do this in 3 minutes, because I'm going to give you a 3-minute timer. Okay. So here is the images that you're going to be working with. You can choose Lightroom or Photoshop. Okay. Right, so you choose. I chose restaurants because you work with Oasis, right? Yep. So I thought, you know what? Let me just stick to restaurant photos, food photos. This is what he might be most comfortable with. Okay. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you a minute to choose a photo, and once you have the photo chosen, you let me know, and I'll get that timer started. Okay. So I choose one of these photos, and then we're gonna edit them, right? Yeah. Okay. He will be editing one of these 3 photos. They're all restaurant based, and this is from a shoot from a client that we have here in the area. But nice. All right, I'm gonna check this out. We're gonna go. Are you gonna do Lightroom or Photoshop? You know what? Just because I only get 3 minutes, I gotta go Lightroom. I gotta go Lightroom. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna pick this one. All right. And then we'll go over the edit that you made. why you chose the photo that you did and why you made the edits that you did.
Okay.
But here we go. I'm going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. You
and
got
I got to talk, huh?
Yes, and you got to talk. But it's a this or that, so it's not too much.
Yeah,
here
exactly.
We go. Reading or audiobooks?
Ooh, audiobooks for sure. I hate reading.
Okay. Music or podcasts?
If I'm driving, podcast. If, I'm just vibing out, music for sure.
You got to choose one, though.
Let's do podcast.
Okay, podcast. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you said podcast because we on a podcast.
Yeah, right? That's got to be right.
Movies or series?
Definitely series. I don't have the patience for movies sometimes.
Really? Oh, okay. Yeah. We're going to touch on that. Headphones or earbuds?
Definitely earbuds.
Okay.
Yeah, I love my AirPods.
Nice. Android or iPhone?
iPhone, 100%. There's Android, no.
Oh, dang. As I'm holding an Android.
Sorry, buddy.
2 minutes left. Laptop or tablet?
Oh, crap. I'm going to do laptop for sure. Laptop. Definitely tablet. Oh, crap. I'm from Mac, by the way. This is like
a little bit difficult. I was gonna ask PC or Mac, but I guess that kind of answers the next question.
Yeah, right. I'm definitely a Mac-based person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Urban or suburban?
I'm more of a suburban guy.
Oh, really?
Suburban guy. Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been too urban sometimes.
Sony or Canon?
Oh, Sony 1,000%.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Nikon or Fuji?
Fuji.
Fuji?
Same sensor as Sony.
That's true. I mean, Nikon too.
Oh,
Did
Nikon
you know
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikon. Yeah.
Flash or continuous?
I guess I do more video, so continuous for sure.
Continuous. Okay.
Yeah.
Gimbal or handheld?
Okay. This one's tough because I like using my gimbals, but I do a lot of handhelds. So I do a lot of embodies, or not embody. I do like a gyro data a lot. So
yeah. Likewise, we just did that yesterday, but we'll touch on that later.
Yeah.
Capture One or Lightroom?
Lightroom for sure.
Lightroom. Yeah. Okay. Premiere or DaVinci?
Oh, DaVinci 1,000%. I'm a DaVinci guy.
Oh, nice. TikTok or Instagram?
I'm gonna do Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram, yeah.
30 seconds left.
This is coming out
Twitter
horrible.
or Reddit?
Twitter, Reddit. That's a tough one because I like Reddit for information, and I like Twitter. I actually hate Twitter. Never mind. Let's go Reddit.
Okay. Film or digital?
Definitely digital. I'm a digital guy.
Studio or on location?
On location. I like the vibes.
Short form or long form content?
Let's do short form.
Pre-production or post-production?
Post-production.
Post-production. Last one.
Mm-hmm.
And the time is up.
Yeah.
Stop the editing.
I did absolutely nothing to that. I did absolutely nothing.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll see which one you chose. Last one, though.
Yeah.
Photo or video?
Video.
Video?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Okay, so you chose the plate with the beer and the chips.
Yeah.
May I ask why you chose that one out of the three?
You know what? I just felt like something I'd want to see that. Like I was just hungry. If I would have looked at that, I would have been like, "Hey, I want to eat that."
You want to eat that? Okay,
yeah.
cool. And what edits did you make here? Oh, you did make edits.
Yeah, barely.
Barely. You said barely.
Yeah,
you changed the exposure. Minus contrast. You didn't like the contrast. You didn't like the punchiness in this one.
You know what? Honestly, I think the biggest thing is that okay, so I usually use glasses too. Right,
okay.
I don't have my contacts or glasses, and so you definitely got me today. You got me today, yeah. But so I definitely wanted to make it a little bit less contrasty because I couldn't see it as well.
No worries.
Yeah,
you up the highlights, you up the shadows.
Yeah,
and here, guys, is the before and the after. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you like the images. I hope you liked your edit as much as you, you chose the image.
I'll tell you what, doing that while talking, that was pretty difficult. On top of that, actually, so many people hate me because I'm like a very unorthodox guy. So I do a lot of photos, but
okay, cool.
I use the regular Lightroom if I use it. So the newer one, I don't use classic. Or I'm gonna put you guys on right now. I use Luminar a lot too.
Luminar I heard a lot about Luminar. It's good.
If you went to Luminar, you'd probably never go back.
Really?
Yeah. Luminar is a freaking beast.
Don't tell me. I've actually been considering leaving Adobe Suite altogether.
Yeah.
Switching from Premiere to DaVinci, from Lightroom to Capture One. DaVinci's free. Capture One, although you do have to pay. You pay yearly, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But before we move on to the next segment, I kind of wanted to touch on the things that you chose.
Yeah.
So you chose podcasts.
Yeah.
Is there any podcast that you're listening to right now that you want to recommend to the audience?
You know, dang, I'm gonna forget his name. But it was Logan Paul is actually the guy used to be Georgienko. Yeah, Georgienko. You know, I'm a very religious not religious. I'm sorry, religious is not the word. I'm a very God-fearing person. Like I really like my relationship with God is very good, and
You're
religion.
A man of faith.
Yeah, I'm a man of faith. Yeah, I'm a man of faith, and I really like the message he's putting out sometimes. So I like that one. I do when I see a video and then I see okay, I like the guest. Yeah, I do that podcast a lot.
So it's a lot of informative podcasts that you listen to as opposed to entertainment podcasts.
Yeah, I listen to informative mainly.
Nice, cool. We were thinking about doing some informative stuff, but for now we thought let's keep the audience entertained. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
One more. You chose, two more. You chose short form over long form content.
Yeah.
Is it because that's what you're creating, or is that truly something that you just prefer to consume?
You know, it's kind of ironic because the content I make is long form, right? But the reason I picked short form is that I think that you can get your story across quicker. I think that you can impact more people by using short form. So, and obviously I've seen most of my success with short form content. So I think that's why I picked short form. No,
not just that. It takes real skill to sell a service, a product, or send a message in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Especially with everyone's attention span being like 3 seconds now. 1 second, right?
Yeah. You have 3 seconds. This is actually a real statistic. You have 3 seconds to lock somebody in on a short form, like on a TikTok, on a reel. And if you don't, then it's gone.
Yeah, you lose them.
Yep.
Yeah. And then last one, you chose video over photo. I'm a little heartbroken, but tell me why you chose video over photo.
Video, it's like sometimes with photos, you leave it to the mind of the create. You leave it to your mind to just speak the rest. But I think video sometimes you get to learn more about whatever you're taking a photo or whatever you're shooting. Right. You get to learn more about it through video than you do with photo. Yeah. And I think video just tells so much more. I feel like with video you can establish a connection with somebody. With photo, it's a lot harder.
Yeah. No, agreed. Well, thank you so much for participating in Spray and Pray. We're going to move on to the next segment.
Okay.
Community of creatives in Chicago.
Yes.
What community do you associate with most?
That's a tough one. I would say relatively I'm like known in a lot of different communities. So like the music community is very strong. Like I still have a presence there. I'm kind of creeping into the, videography, photography community. Cause like I said, that misconception, but like I said, I know a lot about what I'm talking about. Like I'm not an uneducated person on that subject. So I'm there, but I would probably say if the largest community definitely got to be music.
Music. Yeah. Nice. How involved would you say you are with the community of creatives in Chicago or the Chicagoland area?
I'm pretty involved. I know a lot of people. My friend, one of my, closest friends, Garrison, he does a lot of like cool things and stuff like that. And he's got I've seen the community a lot more. So especially like the video side of the community, I've been like introduced to it a lot more. And I would say I'm fairly involved just cause like, especially even in the, I totally missed like this whole boat here. I'm definitely involved in like the creative modeling community and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, can you go into a little bit more detail on that?
Yeah. Well, my good friend, he's obviously been here before, Season Vibes. Yeah.
Shout out Corey, Season Vibes.
Corey.
Yes.
We used to throw events together, with DTO and stuff like that. So I used to be,
Were you at the last DTO event?
I couldn't make it.
Neither could I.
It's just the weather wasn't permitting, and I had just gotten hit like a major accident, a while ago. So it was like,
I hope you're okay. You're okay, right?
Yeah,
everyone's okay.
As far as like okay, obviously I got nicked around a little bit. I did get a concussion.
See that, on your story.
Got some aches here and there, pretty bad. So still getting evaluated, still trying to figure it out. But
well, man, you're a trooper because you're on the show. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no problem. It is it's been a good month and some time later. Yeah. So obviously, so that's good.
But that's why I had to have you on the show, because you're such a kind and very energetic spirit. Like, despite, what happened, you still, like, today was a great day. Today's going good, and
oh man,
I love that. We need more people like that in the community,
Absolutely.
Do you, speaking about community, going back to community, do you attend any like Instagram meetups? Are there events that you attend to that you feel, that are like more focused on your community or even outside your community? Like, what kind of events do you go to or seek?
So the type of events I seek now, I would have to say I really do enjoy like meeting new photographers, meeting new videographers. So like that's the community, I guess, is the closest to where I'm at. So that's the events I attend. Nice. I have a friend. She also throws events. She's been doing some really good events, and I go to some of her names. Her name's Porches by Alexis. I'll shout her out.
Porches by Alexis. Wait, yo. Oh yeah, she follows, I believe. Yo, shout out Alexis.
Yeah, shout out Alexis. Yeah, she's really awesome. She's been doing a lot of good events. Obviously Season Vibes, he's been doing a lot of good events. I think there's actually more events now than ever before for the photography modeling community, and I think that's a good thing. I always try to, like I said, I'm a more low-key guy, but like I always try to when somebody ever has a question or something, I always try to like guide them in the right path about like maybe sometimes I'll hook up a venue or something like that, or like put somebody in contact with them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, and the reason why it's Community Creatives of Chicago is because more and more as I continue to work in this space with more creatives, I definitely want to continue to build a community of creatives, like a safe haven.
Absolutely.
Do you have any ideas or suggestions on how we can continue to grow a healthy, strong community of creatives here in Chicago?
Absolutely. I have a ton of advice. I mean, my bad. The cold weather got to me. But
no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, absolutely. My advice, or like what I would do, right, is because I used to be, involved. I used to help Season Vibes out with some of the events. The reason I don't is just because like I've been so focused on what I've been doing. I just haven't had the time. Working with companies is hard, and it takes a lot of time.
Absolutely.
But I would definitely say building a safe place for the community is just really. I hate to put it like this, but sometimes you have to really, be not all inclusive sometimes. And the reason that you have to be not all inclusive in the sense of like there is that sometimes when you build a community and you're so like. It's not in the open's not the word, but when like sometimes you don't really understand. Yeah, you don't filter who's in the community. You let a lot of toxic people in, and people don't realize that one toxic person spreads toxicity a lot quicker than one positive person spreads positive things.
Yeah. And
I'm not saying like, hey, don't like be open. You got to be open. Like you want a very diverse and large community. But if you do, like, if you have some sort of barriers, like understand, oh, this person, is this type of way, you just got to watch out, just because you really want to watch who you're around, and you really want to watch who's contributing to the community, because not everybody has good intentions. And that's the big problem that you have to face, where it's like you have to be all inclusive, but in the same breath, you have to like really watch who's around and stuff like that. And I think the best way to do it is just, make sure you're personally reaching out and inviting good people, the people that like get them really involved. That's the best way to do it, is get good people involved. And good people, real recognize real. I've always believed in that. So like if you get a lot of good people involved, I think it helps filter a lot of that stuff. Just don't make it, don't like have an event and then just be like, all right, whoever wants to come. Like have an event, invite a ton of good people that personally reach out to them, like personally try to build that relationship with these people, bring them in, and then the rest, sorts out itself.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I completely agree. I'm in that one belief: misery loves company.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm in complete agreement. It's easier to spread hate than it is to spread love. So I love that advice. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being on the show, everything that you've said. Yeah. Right now is time to, promote what you got going on right now, or what people can look forward to. And where can people find you?
Yeah, so they can find me on Instagram or anything really at AJ Blitzen. So it's AJ Blitz with an N at the end of it. don't want to, like I said, I'm more of a low key guy, but I will say, if you guys do tap into my YouTube, they got the Monday Mindset. Obviously, I'd actually love to do an episode with you guys too at some point too.
Yeah,
I was actually going to say
absolutely.
you guys got the perfect business for here, but I've been cooking up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it just covers a lot of good business people. I'd rather have those people get exposure for what they're doing. Really cool people that's been on. And then that's it. And make sure you guys tap in here with the XR Space.
Yes.
Joliet, you guys are really working hard, and I love everything you guys are doing too.
Thank you. I appreciate
you guys have been pushing from the first time I met you guys. You guys have definitely been pushing a lot harder now. I see that.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for everyone tuning in. If you guys have any ideas of how we can grow and better our community as creatives, we'd love to hear from you. And if you want to be on the show, be sure to send us a DM. But thanks again to AJ for being on the show. Be sure to check out his YouTube and all the work that he's doing. You're doing great, man.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll catch you in the next episode. See ya. Perfect.